Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the PPL. Rain Day pretty here on the desk. We'll have Gormizer and Hi-Rez following us up and just always keeping pace with one another. That's what I love about Nick and myself. Just have to get the last one in order to make it. It's
I don't know why I did that. It just caught my eye, and I was like, oh.
It's a suave motion. There was something there, and I don't know where it went. But that's, I think, how Envy feel with their second place. Woo, spot
Nice, dude.
and
Got
chances
him.
at first. Ay. That's a smoking gun right there, ready to strike. I think at this point, though, Renegades, they earned that victory, and you got to say now, heading into this one, they've got to face it, SK.
It's how high will SK rise today? That was the question early in the season for SK, was like, how far will they fall? Now it's kind of how far and how fast will they rise from those ashes. Rough start for what was the #1 online team qualified out in North America for PPL Season 1. Horrific start for these guys. A lot of reputations, let's just call it like it is, and they were not happy with it. Feeling much more happy about their performance today. The Renegades, it's going to be a tough matchup for them. They always show up to play when it comes to G2, but how will they fare against the rest of the pack?
And I almost worry about how well they performed against G2. And, you got to say that's a lot of blood between Alternate and those guys. They're great friends. And as well as all the SK guys, he's got a big, kind of collection with that. And maybe it's just this week's preparation was let's do as best as we can against G2. I don't know how much they prepared against Renegades. I don't know how much they're considering Renegades a threat. Yeah. I mean, let's think about it. The way Viral showed up, the way that we saw Loki playing on that Androxus, the flawless, effortless kind of confidence he was playing with, taking it to Rubu, who is really the one general counter to him in that map, just shows that they are, I think, really stepping up, leveling up, so to speak, as far as their play.
And the way that these win conditions are evolving in Season 2, whether it's Genos in, whether it's Torvald's in, and a lot of this Pip conversation, Pip and Nara, definitely been a big talking point. Envious ran it both ways. I saw some Mega Potion come out. And we also saw a lot of Catalyst come out from Random Noob. I don't think SK have that in the tank. I think they really just have Vex playing that one through as the true Mega Potion solo support. But what's Bitey going to pull out? We know he loves Zin.
Yeah.
But we just saw SK get absolutely hard-bodied by it in set 1. They did not play it at all themselves.
And let's be real. I mean, Rock Monkey, he loves Zen. He's been fantastic. But we just saw Envy get hard-bodied by it. Obviously, with Renegades taking the command over that set in that convincing fashion. And ClickQ, he's been one of the more impressive pieces for me to them. I also love Poison today. I like the way Hero's been playing. But I got to say that ClickQ is flexing off of front lines onto damage last week, doing well. Now flexing back onto front lines, doing extremely well. Right. What a rock for these guys.
Playing a lot of front lines for him in this week. And that's when people are getting so aware of Genos Zin. Torvald Zin has been what's come up, but he plays both of those characters for this Renegades roster. So it's a weird little overlap here. Renegades going to stick with the Ascension Peak ban. Dang it, I wanted to see it again.
That was so fun. It was so nice to see those.
Gore said it well. They were both like 20-minute games, but they went by so fast because they were so fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting part about Ascension Peak. You're learning every single time you watch that. Yeah. So I encourage players and teams to continue throwing that out there. To me, I commented on how I like Poison's play, and I think, again, I want to echo, he's finding those frags where you find Loki having pressure, you find, sometimes ClickQ having pressure to perform in the role that he's in. But if Poison can step up and continue to provide really clutch kills, doubles here and there to clean out close out a point fight, or an early frag onto a 1v1 to really set the 5v4 off at the start of an objective, I think that's what's really keeping Renegades flowing today.
He's been a hell of a player. He's kind of flown under the radar today, in my opinion, but his performance has been undoubtedly kind of show-stopping, whether he's on the Cassie. He got that a decent amount, and that's got to be probably his most comfortable champion, I think, through his time in the PGS. Shaolin as well was another one I was thinking about for him, and now that SK have gone ahead and grabbed it post-haste, what will they park him on?
Bigger conversations around this draft, too. I mean, Torvald and Genos. Now Torvald, I think, being more of an actual ban versus what he was a long time ago, or at least the last few months, which is just like, ban Torvald, ban Makoa, ban Torvald, ban Makoa. People now really like, okay, here's how we do play with Torvald when he's available. But a Ruckus Makoa, I don't think we've seen those two together.
What do you think about this?
I think SK, they prioritize it too much, man. They always have done this.
I'm just wondering because, like, we saw Alternate look great on frontline. Got stomped out on Shaolin when he played it on Splitstone. And is this a problem with, like, what else does he have right now to bring to the table? Or do they really just need to get him there?
I guess what you also think is, like, priorities of the value of this meta, I guess, with Inara Pip as a combo. You know, if you take Shaolin, you may give up Ruckus Makoa, but you get Inara Pip, which is just as good. I don't know if they're practiced with the Grover, but it also opens up the Fernando to alternate, which he's been playing a ton of today because you know they're not going to take that.
It's true.
So if you feel confident on that and you think Inara Pip can hold you down, it's an okay pick, just weird to see come first.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is good. It's solid. Good take from Poison as well with Cassie Band out. He'll probably, still need to be looking for his pick here. I see Loki on this Leon Vivian here. I mean, SK, nobody. Actually, he does kind of like this, and he likes those, the just simple characters, those run and gun styles. Great aim on this guy with the Vivian here. A lot of shield to burn through, and one of the few characters that can probably go toe-to-toe with Ruckus.
The thing is, though, if she's investing into the shielding, right? I mean, that's a big cauterized applier right there that could be really making Grover's time very difficult. But now, taking a look at the efflorescence, the Talus coming in, I think actually that's probably going to be where Loki sits. Leon probably going to be going to Poison in this one. And I want to see if Viral's Grover can continue to dominate, especially with the DPS of Vivian now being a part of the conversation. Let's send it to the casters to start out game one here in our last set of the day.
It's the last set of the day, and we're still splashing with some flavor.
We're getting Victor today. We're getting Grover today. We're getting Vivian today. People just they looked at the list and they're all right, who hasn't been played yet? Let's go ahead and get them back in.
Was this your Vivian? Was that your reaction?
You got to bounce.
Well, everybody remember to vote on Facebook for who you think is going to take the set. Is it a like for SK Gaming or a heart for Renegades?
I don't know who I lean with on this one. Renegades had a pretty clean performance, but SK were playing really good earlier, so it's kind of up in the air, at least to me. And I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm curious as to where this Vivian, what she's going to be able to do and bring to the equation.
Oh, yeah, I'm stoked for it. You got the new flavors. This is kind of what we're seeing out of the teams that are in the bottom half of the brackets for the regions. They're using this time to experiment, and in some cases, it's paying off. And these two are clashing once more. Renegades stole the victory the first time they met here within this season of the PPL, and they're looking to do so again.
I mean, you look at it, you're in the spring. You've got a summer. You've got a fall to come after this. Whether you make it to this specific land isn't really the end of the world. You still have more to look forward to after that. So being able to kind of find things now that might make the difference later, test them. Figure them out, especially against some of the teams you think are going to be a little bit more competitive with. If you're SK, I like being able to kind of dip a little bit deeper. Still not Willow territory just yet, but we're getting there one day.
One day, some way, somehow, but here we go. Game number one of the set, and Vivian gonna be with Bitey this time around. And we've seen some cases where a very particular pick that can have synergy within some compositions to try and knock down the rest.
Now I'm wondering, I believe it's Sapper rounds. This is 150% extra damage base for Vivian to be able to kind of eat through shields and going into the Wrecker. So having that talent and potentially building, or not potentially, definitely building Wrecker on top of that means he will pretty much erase shields. If you're hero, your shield is not going to mean quite as much to Bitey. And I'm kind of interested to see how this one's going to go. Also being able to play, I believe Evan always refers to it as kind of like the tactician role, giving a little bit of positioning knowledge right there, but Hero gets first blood.
Takes it on to Shady Shades. Clicky picks one up onto Alternate, and they are falling one by one. 4 down for SK Gaming. That was so quick and so bloody.
It was like Renegades got a little bit of lull in the action as they just roped around behind SK. And they're like, oh, here you are. Bye.
Well, and that's what you saw across the way, where Bitey had gotten a little tick onto Clicky, and then everybody rotated around. Poison actually falls now to Vex, but Renegades 60% onto the objective for them.
Was he there a little too often? Was he there a little too far? The shots are going backward. Vex, Shady picking up a couple kills for them, but ClickU still fighting, still going. They lose a few members. Renegades maybe overstaying their welcome. 60% picked up for them, but now they're losing a good chunk of it. Back to SK.
Hero doesn't hit with that, but is rotating around to Alternate actually over on the sideline, chunking down upon Poison, but Poison's getting some hits as well. It's really hard when you're the only one standing by yourself, and Hero gets the last hit onto Alternate. Now Poison's bringing himself back into the equation towards the objective. Renegades are taking control once more.
Hero's getting low, but there's Viral going for the whirlwind. Just get him all the way back to full wide as well. There's an Evil Mojo, but hooked out of the air. I don't even know if it actually got to go off. No, he still retains his ult, but just plucked down Vex, brought to the ground. Renegades played that beautifully.
That was so pretty to see that hook into the air. Renegades get this first objective. Moving on forward, Loki picks up another one onto Alternate. Alternate's just finding a situation so many times where he's got 3 or 4 members surrounding him. And yes, he's a beefy member. Yes, he's a Nando, but he can only last for so long.
Renegades playing this one pretty spot on with where they need to be, but ults are starting to come up for SK. We've already seen Renegades use a few. I'm wondering if that's going to be able to make a big difference. Bitey not feeling the best on this Vivian. 1 hit away, and that's going to be the shot. Poison flicks around.
With this opportunity passing that 50% mark, a wall from Wi-Fi to block off this lane of passage, but nonetheless, Renegades biding their time. Seismic Crash coming from Wi-Fi as well.
Ancient Rage is available. You can see that passive healing coming down. And a nice big burst, 900 up just from where Grover's been standing. And because that's going to be able to spread so far, you can see, I think, a few members benefiting from it. Hero as well as Ruckus both sitting a little bit too low, but Renegades are looking clean. They don't look worried about this. SK are still falling back.
Loki went across away to take that kill. Viral gets another one onto Shady Shades Poison. Nice angle from him. Lots of reach for Wi-Fi and friends on the opposite side. You see Pip actually hopping around, but struggling to get his shots down.
Immortal coming down. These axes from Viral are spot on, and Click, you going to be able to clean it up right after he leaves. There's a wall there. There's a couple of members of SK trying to stop this from going in, but Renegades have a little bit of a different plan written down for them. Viral.
Someone's got to see.
Click you just eating through them.
Yeah, he's been shooting this way, and even though a couple turned in that direction, no one enough to burn down Click you. And with that help, Renegades 2-0.
10, 11, 8, 12. Poison once again finding himself in the first game, the only one not on a streak coming to the second round. But we'll give it to him because he had such a phenomenal performance on the Shaolin after that Frog Isle game earlier against Envy. I feel like we're going to see the same here. What a beautiful hook.
Poor Vex. I love how you see that Pip turn also to the side right before the last hit happens. It's like, no, it's about to go down. And then it does. 2-5-2 for Vex, and those slash lines on the side of SK, less than favorable.
4-0-8. Hero's definitely feeling himself undying so far. The Ancient being able to pull out an Ancient Rage if he needs to right now, starting it off the fight on the right. Renegades in control, but they lose Click you immediately.
That was a quick burn down, and actually Leon finding herself into safety, had to back off of it, but eventually taken out of the equation by Shady Shades. The Ancient Rage activated by Hero. Keeps himself alive in the meantime.
But look at Loki just coming around, going to be able to shred through one, looking to shred through another. Bitey, that shield saving his life, but only for a little bit. Hero follows up with the shot. Now it's going to be Wi-Fi kind of stuck in the bad ground. Seismic Crash comes through. Loki teleports on out of there, and they're going to be able to lock Inara literally in the corner. She is in jail.
But all the while, Renegade 60% on the objective. Nothing so far from SK Gaming. They're going to have to rotate around eventually, and that's exactly what Wi-Fi is attempting to do. But Click you, he's got his shield pop. He's got his rockets out. He is ready for a fight. And coming on through as well with the Hexifier. Objective captured. That's all they wanted. 4 down on the side of SK.
Vex going to be able to find 1 kill in all of that, but overall, Renegades, I think they're looking a little bit too clean as of right now. SK definitely having a different performance than what we saw come out of them earlier. 3-0, and with the way they've been playing Renegades, they're looking to convert this and make it 4.
That's exactly what they're looking for indeed, and on the side of SK Gaming. So much trouble for them, and ultimates on the side of Renegades just have gotten more value than SK. Even though the one from Hero, it wasn't really intended for kills necessarily. It kept himself alive. It kept himself a target. And Click you actually goes down to alternate, but that's just 1 in the meantime.
Just keep looking at me is all Hero really needs to say. Just make sure the rest of his team, mainly Loki, mainly Poison, neither of them going to be looked at. Viral, I feel like, hasn't died in a while as well. 16 streak picked up for him. The same thing kind of going. Him and Hero living forever, hugging each other permanently. But because of this distraction, I guess, really coming down from Hero, no one is attempting to get rid of some of the bigger factors that are keeping Renegades moving.
Look at that healing ticking on up, and it's still going. Soon gonna pat. There's your 100K. I like giving up to the healing, and actually ultimate just popped from Viral as well, so that's gonna make it even stronger. Gets the last smack into alternate, and this is just moving on aggressively. 2 down for SK. Everybody that's remaining, they're just getting picked off like flies.
Axe is flying. Wi-Fi still going to try to stop. A minute left. Loki's in the back line eating through members of SK. And while they're trying to hold on to it, they're still dropping.
Loki is in the same position that Clicky was the last time they were pushing. Alternate forced to throw up the shield. Shady Shades looking to be the target. Smacked into the face. Loki gets that one. And SK Gaming falling apart at the seams.
There's going to be Wi-Fi one last time. An Ancient Rage just for a little flavor on top, a little salt to spritz through the meal that Renegades just served, and they chopped it up clean.
Yeah, nice. Yummy for them, I'm sure. 4-0 to start it off. And that's how they started off their set with Team Envy. So they're kind of going in that same momentum as before.
Looking not even like a different team, just a better version of themselves. It's definitely been evolving from even just last week to this week. But you can kind of see, I mean, you take a week 1 video and play it next to that, they look so much better at what they're doing. And they're still kind of running the same thing, but you can tell the comfort is there. The team's feeling a lot better with each other, and they're making it look easy.
And SK had a little bit of experimentation, but it didn't go in their favor. We'll have to see how both these teams fare in game number 2. What do you say, Desk?
Well, pretty incredible here to look at it all. I mean, taking a look at Renegades in this matchup, they seem the better team, and they seem just more confident, more fluid. SK, far cry from what we saw against G2.
Yeah, I mean, they are taking risks, though, to be fair, and they were kind of in G2, but G2 were bringing out the Victor, right? SK bringing out the Victor, now bringing out the Vivian, and Renegade's not taking a lot of risks, playing things that have been proven to work for them. The Grover absolutely dominating the charts.
Yeah, I mean, and Grover, I mean, you know, a risk, it was working today, but we haven't seen it at all in the PPL since this week. So still something they're experimenting with. It works one set. These guys, second set they played today, now starting to get the conversation. I mean, flash forward, we could look at things like Envy and them in their league comparison. Renegades have 3 wins, I think. If they get this one, there's 4 wins on the board. Only 1 less than Envy heading into the final week. That's going to be pretty nutty, but I don't know if that's going to be how it ends. There's still so much more to decide with this match.
Yeah, looking pretty damn good here. Viral on the 17 streak and looking superb against Envious on Bright Marsh, and a lot of similar Paragons drawn here to Jaguar Falls. A lot of line of sight breaks for him to just tuck himself into. No one can really get to him, and he's just spreading all this healing out throughout. Incredible stuff so far from the Renegades. We'll head to Split Stone Quarry, spread it out a little bit, and see if SK can slow him down.
That was another map they excelled really well on against Envy. So this is now starting to look difficult. I mean, I think this may have been actually the first pick going the way of SK. This seems like a Splitstone Quarry might be, you know, in the back pocket for Renegades here. And they have excelled on this map rather often, at least in Season 1 of the PPL. We had some close matches with them.
Sniper's gone so far, so I think Shaolin gets that much more important for SK. It's been incredibly important, but to put Shady Shades on it, I don't know if the first pick here warranted.
I mean, is it that important? That's what I'm saying. You give up Makoa, Ruckus. I mean, they sweep you through. That draft seemed to be. Oh, that was amazing.
That was really, really good stuff from Hero. Most impressive. You know, Makoa's make it through, and we're like, oh wow, look at that. But then sometimes it just falls a little short. Not the case for Hero that time around. SK first pick Ruckus, and we gotta wonder, is this back to basics for Bitey?
And you'd have to say that this is definitely a very good pickup for them. And it's so flexible, and it's really good on this map as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Fernando Makoa, also very good. Alternate's been playing at Renegades, have some flex potential on that. And unfortunately, you know, I think at this point, you've got Renegades in a very strong driver's seat in terms of front lines and aggression. Ruckus possibly paired with the Inara here. But then they're going to give up the Pip, so they can't get both. So they go Leon only.
Torvald's in, still wide open for the Renegades, but with 2 frontliners already drafted here, you got to say maybe it's just completely overlooked so far in this game. And it's something that, you know, high ground is not Zin's strong suit, but Evil Eye seemed to make it work, so
yeah.
Why slow down there? Renegades go for the Pip this time around. Will this be a Catalyst style, or will they run this Mega Potion as the solo healer?
Double Shaolins.
So nice they picked it twice.
Well, you know, at least we wouldn't fail the caster. I guess that would be one thing I could say. So we don't know what that is. We can expect maybe that it's not a Shaolin on the side of Renegades. Seems like more of an actual Shaolin on the side of SK. A Zen, a Maldamba, rounding things out.
Bitey's in.
Possibly finally. A Genos on Renegades.
Love to see that through.
Grover no, excuse me.
Will be the final pick selected here for the Renegades. They've got probably a Catalyst Pip coming through.
What do you think that is?
What, that's Shaolin?
Yeah. Buck?
The world is your oyster.
A Buck? An Andro? I mean, it is possible.
Yeah, Andro could be a possibility. What's close to Shaolin alphabetically?
That's the good question. It was Strix's band, though. So, all right. Well, we don't know. We'll have to send it to the casters to get in the game to figure that one out. Renegades versus SK, Game 2 here on Splitstone.
Renegades are rocking and rolling so far in this set, and I'm sure they would love to power through this one, too.
I mean, being able to go for it. Actually, seeing Splitstone Quarry in the first 2 maps both times, I'm guessing this is actually where Renegades want to go. This is something that they looked really good on last time. Maybe got a little shaky in the middle when the comeback mechanic was in favor for Envy, but SK didn't quite seem to be able to touch them as much in the first game that we saw out of Envy, so in this one, could still be a 4-0, could still be 4-2, could still go SK's way.
Man, imagine if it was Shaolin on both sides. Talk about evening the odds and just having that across the board. But here we go, Splitstone Quarry. It's lovely to see this map getting more attention, not banned out as frequently as it was before. And now SK, they really need to turn things around.
Get to see where things go. Who is the secret Shaolin? Who's wearing the mask? It's Inara.
Oh, another
Not-
one in a switch up. She's getting tired of being made of rocks.
She's trying so hard to become other people.
She wanted to
And
be
it
a
was
real
actually
woman.
SK Gaming's. SK Gaming's Shaolin was the fake. He was the one that was rusing us the entire time.
Oh, Wi-Fi hiding.
I feel like I'm getting a little bit more excited about this than it actually is. Who
Well,
knows why? It's late.
There's a lot of things to be hyped about. Loki's going to be on the Shaolin. He's claiming that boat. And on the opposite end, Inara's been a very comfortable pick for Wi-Fi, so it makes sense to be bringing that to the table. The
And then-
ruck is taken away from ClickU.
Instead of going to the Ruckus, Spidey actually on the Shaolin. I'm interested to see how this one's going to shake out for it. You can see the damage kind of already going across that first point. But Viral, once again on that Grover, these axes have been potent all day.
Here's Alternate on the Ruckus, switching it up from the Nando, and ClickU immediately going towards the objective. Yes, these walls can get a pain in the booty, but hey, guess what? You can just hook Inara, try and displace her a little bit, shake things up, even if you don't get the immediate death.
ClickU very low, but still moving, still alive over there. Bidey getting a little bit aggressive, trying to find the kill, but Loki going to be able to help pin them down. Hero lived through all of that. The healing was solid, and ClickU, I mean, coming through all of this, working out perfectly for the Team Renegades. Both of their front lines almost dead, brought back to life. Only 21% picked up for them, but still moving.
66% on the side of SK. That's what happens. Wi-Fi doing his job very effectively. Vex on the high ground to send down those heals where necessary. But Loki's poking out from the side. Can he dish it out against his Inara? And Wi-Fi does go down.
I did not realize First Blood had not yet happened. A lot of poke toss between the two, but finally getting rid of the Inara. Secret Shaolin are not going to have the damage to be able to stay alive. Bidey in the 1v1. Loki looking to potentially turn that one around. They're trying to hold on to this, but 78-72, Renegades have taken control.
Poison's on the Pip, and these flasks can really be poisonous indeed if you get the right angle. And there's actually a Shady Shades ultimate onto Viral, taking that out. You heard the Evil Mojo go off to eliminate Wi-Fi, and that's 4 down on the side of SK Gaming.
That was a blink and you miss it chicken Inara. She was there and then she was erased. You had to be watching to see it, and that is probably the worst way to get welcome back to the point, I would say. If you are the Inara, you drop down, immediately killed again. I hope you enjoyed your time out because you're getting another one now. Wi-Fi going to be back around, but it does not seem like SK have much, even with all their ults available to do this. Going into the seismic crash, but killed before it can go off.
There was a Loki lurking behind her. She was so focused on trying to take out ClickU, but Wi-Fi, he eventually was taken down, and actually Dread Serpent activated on the side of SK Gaming. But the Whirlwind to answer as well, and here's the Ancient Rage swinging away, finds one onto Vex, looking for a Shady Shades, throwing the shade his way. That's the double kill for ClickU.
Being able to kind of continue forward, nice swings, everything. The pressure coming down from Renegades. SK have not had many moments where all 5 of them are still left standing after all of this. And the way things are going, the fights back and forth, Renegades are looking very clean on this push, similar to what we saw earlier, where they just are pretty much unstoppable.
Unstoppable indeed. About a minute and 20 to go. There's actually a Hexafire on the opposite end. Immortal Hero marching on forward, but Alternate eventually finds his way into the pocket of ClickU. Loki, nice planted, gets some damage, but Wi-Fi finds himself into safety, gets some heals as well.
Shots off the side. Poison, pretty much phenomenal. Already has his evil mojo charged back up. Probably not going to need it here, although could use it if they want to erase Alternate or Bitey or Wi-Fi. Anybody who happens to stand in their way to stop this from going through. But again, they don't look like they need it. The burst is just too strong. The damage, the healing, everything in favor of Renegades.
And as soon as you take away Wi-Fi, that's a push for you. They took down already so many others, and Anar in that situation was the only one that could really jump through and try to keep going until the team respawned. But they knew exactly where to focus.
11, 10, 5, 8, and 8. A lot of streaks burning for the Renegades. Not too much to worry about, although this is where things got shaky versus Envy. Now you're up 2-0. SK have the comeback mechanic. And with the way things were going last time, if they were able to stand on it as long as they were, they'd have the points. So you have to make sure you approach this fight carefully. Only 3 kills picked up throughout the entire round, though, so definitely feeling a little bit more comfortable for Renegades.
I'm super impressed with how Renegades have been performing this set and the last set, but this set even continuing there, as you said, only 3 kills on the side of SK Gaming. It's very difficult when you're like that because you lose some credit opportunities. The push was a bit too quick for you to make up for it in that way as well. It's 10 streak on ClickU, finding his target.
And again, a week ago, this would have been dead even between the two of them. I'm really excited to see what Renegades have been able to bring to the table, the way they've been able to adapt right now, adapting to Wi-Fi. Bitey, both going to end up going down. A double kill, essentially 3 in a row picked up right there for Loki. He's going to keep on going.
Triple, and then also that one beforehand looking for another onto quadra kill for Loki. So comfortable on this Shaolin, man.
That is a delayed penta. He got all 5 of those kills. It was just a little matter of timing between all of that. And when you have the comeback mechanic, you have to be alive to be able to use it, and Loki pretty much solved that problem immediately.
And there's actually a Dread Serpent, manages to separate Renegades. Seismic Crash as well. Mortal Pop, though. This will keep Renegades in it just a bit, and here you go. There's your capture. And one thing worth noting, too, we talk about always wanting to see Bitey on the Zen. He loves this pick, but we haven't even really got to note it as much because Renegades have just been so oppressive.
It has been a little bit too much on the receiving end of the kill feed instead of the dishing out end. And with the way things went last time, that push was very smooth. Never really found too many hitches in the ride, so I feel like we're going to see something similar. Loki, I believe, just got the godlike as he's pushing up. 17 streak picked up for him, the highest on the team, although falling closely behind, 16-15. The team's not done with him.
Loki fairly low, but managed to get some shots. Shady Shades throughout the ultimate, but didn't get any kill with it. ClickU spinning on in here. Can't get the connect, but following up behind his buddy Nando. Loki's back to it with full HP. Here's the Heat Haze.
Going in for the flank Shaolin, going to be able to stay invisible a little bit longer, but taken down. His streak has been ended. Actually giving over. The Seismic Crash comes through. Isn't going to be enough. The heal's solid. Viral's still around, and that's going to be the Whirlwind.
Another Dread Serpent as well. The Hexafire right into the face, but it doesn't matter. Beefy enough. ClickU eventually falls down. Shady Shades with a double kill. Maybe this is their opportunity to slow things down a bit.
Hero really needs the heals, but Poison not in a position to give it to him. You can see they all fell back, maybe a little bit too far, or they made the call, don't worry about me. Let them get the kills. We'll just deal with it when the time comes. We have a minute left. Renegades looking to regroup. That double support's been dominating. That was a great hook, and I loved being able to watch it from that perspective. Bitey from off screen pulled to his death.
That always is just when you finally get to see something later. That was a good moment. That was a good moment. But ClickU, look how aggressive he is. Right there, he knows how to just be able to stand his ground a bit. There's another Enlightenment coming out from Shady Shades. Viral poking over from the backline. Wi-Fi actually high above. Having to drop down, Bitey swinging away.
You can see how potent that shield for ClickU is being, just being able to keep him alive and going. Bitey gets close to killing him every time, but then stopped by the damage. Loki steps it up. Viral finds a kill, and they're going.
4 down for SK Gaming, and Renegades right there, closing it out. Game number 2.
Clean, I guess, once again. I mean, 4-0, 4-0. Showing, I think, why they like going to that map that time around. They didn't have anywhere near, I want to say, the competition Envy put up.
And that was just tough stuff for SK. And even at moments where they managed to pick off a couple, it wasn't in the same substantial manner that Renegades had. So here we go, 2 games in, maybe only 1 to go at this rate. Desk, break it down.
I mean, there's not much to break down.
14-1. Maybe that first pick worth it. I don't know. Shaolin looking pretty good to me. What you think, bro?
You know, it was actually all right. Honestly, man, I think our breakdown might have been better right now than SK's performance. And our breakdown was kind of okay, and I love that we did that first. But SK, they just lost it. They don't have an answer for Renegades. And Renegades are playing well, but beside that, even Envy could put up a fight. And SK's not putting up a fight. This is back to identity issues. Again, they're working with alternate, so I got to give them some slack. But
yeah.
It's just a rough spot for them to be in. And I just wonder, how long are we going to keep talking about this rough spot?
Yeah, it's like, 14-1 for Loki Shaolin, but SK still putting out the feelers, man. I think they're still trying to figure out what their Season 2 identity is. And here's one. And now looking forward for the second kill. This man popped off a little bit. You got to let him have his moment when it's due there. No hop thing necessary.
Yeah.
More in front of him. Mama, there goes that man. So there's definitely this factor that is happening to SK right now. But I don't think anyone's really pulled off Xin without Genos or Torvald successfully.
Yeah, I wanted to say, did Moonchopper have a game where he didn't have it? I think he might have been.
I think average at best is what we've seen without something backing up Xin.
Oh, and you know what? Was it the guillotine? Did G2 run that?
They had Torvald.
Ah, that's right. That Torvald was really extending his lifespan. So yeah, I think there's a truth to that as well. Zen's still a strong champion. Map 3s don't keep. This one has been very fast, and for a team that's been around for a long time, yeah, you gotta say this is a time to experiment. This is definitely a time to get your get your options checked out and explored. However, do you think they're doing the right amount of exploring, the right style? Is there any other type of advice you give for the way they're exploring?
I mean, I'm not really going to tell them how to find their identity, but I think it's good that they're doing it, that they're out of the running for land. This is the time. They're making substitutions. They're probably trying new things in scrims, trying new things here in the PPL. This is really when you do it. They've got to find something that works for them in Season 2.
And again, Renegades very close to getting their 4th win of the PPL. That would put them 4 wins and then 5 wins for Envy. And next week, still to be played. So
yeah, I was back there trying to do the clinching math, but it's very tough because we're doing it with the map scores now. Basically, like if 2 teams are tied, you look at the head-to-head, and then if that's still split, you have to look at who got that record with the least amount of maps played. And so it really would come down to the wire, and it will depend how those head-to-head splits go.
Very interesting. I mean, we're still fighting for land, and Renegades know that, and maybe that's why SK kind of lacking motivation here in terms of, really, do we need this win? Renegades saying, this means everything to us because this is still opening up the door for us to be at land.
So the early Shaolin still comes through for Renegades. Genos banned out. Torvald's in on the table. If SK want to run it, and I think they have the composition so far to be able to get there. You've got Shady's pick. You've got I'll pick for Wi-Fi, Bitey, and still needing the picks there. Alternate, can he run the Torvald? We've seen him play the Ruckus today. We've seen him play the Shaolin and the Fernando.
Very audacious approach as well, too, I think, for SK, just giving up Ruckus Makoa overall. These are different styles, opening things up for them, but kind of really changing a lot of factors in my eyes. Sometimes, as a psychological study, you want to only adjust one factor, see how that affects all the others, not do 5 factors and see what comes up from that, because you can't point to it. I mean, the fact is they've had a lot of really strong champions on the side of Renegades throughout this day. Not really been forced to pick anything other outside of their comfort zone. Grover, again.
Dude, they're about the Grover like
viral.
Right now.
Why not?
He's feeling it. The Cripple, I think, does decent against Zen. We mentioned that earlier. Shuts down Billow and Whirl. SK with their final pick of the day. It will be the Willow. And they're all about the experimentation. He's clapping.
That's what you needed.
Many clap.
That's what you needed. If you're really going to experiment, my eyes was like experiment. If you're really going to do it, do it. And I think Willow's a champion, hasn't been brought out, has some impact, has some new buffs that people don't exactly know how they translate. A couple of new legendaries we've seen, talents that have some moments. So it's going to be interesting to see this. Again, the Maeve, the Pip, the Grover, Fernando, Ruckus, Renegades getting things that they love and can clearly play. A big shout out again to Poison flexing onto the Pip and doing excellently. Let's send it over to the casters for Game 3, potentially the last one here in this set.
You got your Willow, boy!
I'm excited for it. It was one of the things that, when we looked through PWC, there were a lot of champions, or not a lot, there were like a couple champions here and there that weren't picked. It was Victor, Willow, and I think for the PC side of things, Ying. So there were 3 total, and now I think we've seen all 3 of those in the PPL.
Well, you go, PPL. So we're going into this last pick where, last pick of Willow. For a second, I thought it was like picked earlier for some reason. And you're thinking,
First
okay.
pick Willow, let's go!
You're going into it and you're thinking, all right, so what can we bring to the table? Maybe a little extra flavor. And there are ways that she does have a certain utility that can serve a role within this composition. I'm excited to see who's on her.
If left alone and no one looks at her, it's Bitey, first off. But left alone, no one looks at her, and she can just sit back and free fire, she can have a phenomenal performance. Although I feel like you can say that about a lot of people. Willow is really good at controlling the point. That seedling does a big chunk of damage. And she can eat through shields relatively quickly. So looking at the way this might go, Bitey maybe kind of thinking a little bit deep into the meta. I'm excited to see it pulled out. And Vivian didn't work out well. Let's see where Willow stands in the world.
Whenever there is a non-traditional pick for SK Gaming, I feel Bitey usually does take the reins. He's got that analytical mind. A lot of innovation on his side. Some clashing here nice and early. Oof. It's Fireball thrown down the way, and Loki gets first blood onto Shady Shades.
Being able to get rid of the Shaolin, probably one of Shady Shades' best champions that I've seen. Being able to set that aside. SK not going to be able to step up, losing a lot of damage. And Alternate took so much from those 2 daggers. Now ClickU coming around the side with the Ruckus. It's looking like a solid performance once again from Renegades. They do not seem too worried. They do get locked out.
Eventually, when Renegades 36% onto the objective, Poison and pursued by Alternate, who got the double kill. Good for him. He's on the Zin this time. Very different play than what we've seen from him today.
Now coming around, one more hits all he needs. Not going to be able to find it. Bitey cleans up that one. And now SK actually taking this one away as they put themselves in the lead on the point. That's a perfect spot for the seedling. Going to be able to kind of cause Renegades, force them through a certain pathway, make sure that you can't come down. And as long as Bitey can kind of hit more seedlings like that, he might be able to control their pathing.
Balls back into SK Gaming's court. Renegades, they're making their way on through, though. Heroes on the Nando, throws a shield up, manages to take off some of the damage from the seedlings, but Poison ends up taking a fall to Shady Shades. ClickU picks one up on what has been a big threat to their team. Heat Haze popped on the side of SK Gaming.
Trying to stay invisible, not let ClickU know where you are, but he kept taking shots, so he knows you're still around. He's going to be looking for you. That rocket not going to be on the mark, though, so a little bit of the burst disappearing. Loki, the one to watch, going into the back, takes a nice flame sword to the face, and that's going to be the spite on the point, trying to get rid of ClickU.
Whirlwind activated by Viral, Vines out of any damage way. So close to hitting right there. Val takes a lot of damage to the face, though. 99% for SK Gaming. Renegades here with the Hexafire. ClickU finds a wall, though. Anar throws that up in his face. Last hits right onto there, and here is the Dread Serpent to push him to bay. Overtime resetting.
I don't know the timer on it, but it looks like SK actually stepped off when they might have been able to get it 99 to 99. Those Seedling dropped down, trying to fight, trying to blow them up and get back in here. Alternate getting blown up himself, taken away. Vex trying to run out, but the damage is coming big. Loki in the backline.
Finally, Renegades close it after getting so many kills. Loki double kill. And you saw during the whole fight that whole capture is basically an anti-heal area from Willow, but nonetheless, they can hold their own. Now moving forward with this objective. Keeping on to this high ground occupation where you see a lot of flanks end up posting up, or ClickU in this case. Takes a bit of damage, though, hides out.
And that healing graph could be a little misleading because you think, oh man, Maldamba's in the lead, but then you think about the fact that that 28 and that 31 are working together on the same side. And all of a sudden, Maldamba's healing seems dwarfed by the size that is coming down from the Grover and the Pip. The double support definitely helping keep both of these front lines alive and burning through the competition. SK not able to stand up to the heat.
These are the spaces that SK need to be occupying and taking control over. Instead, Renegades are pushing through every single avenue. SK pretty backed up with the members that are alive. I'm sure one of them will be hopping down as soon as he's up. That would be Wi-Fi's position to do. Yep, and he comes on down as a frontliner for his team, but Hero is right there, deals a lot of damage to him. The Whirlwind activated, and Renegades, they get that push.
Just the full burn. That axe was going to connect if it did continue flying through the air. Viral, Loki, pretty much everybody on the side of Renegades being able to show pretty much why these champions can be played well, why they can find their home here, and what could potentially be the last game up 2-0, both in points and maps. Renegades feeling pretty confident, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so. Streaks to prove it to him as well. And on the side of SK Gaming, it's just not really coming together in the way that they may have hoped. And I can also see a world where you lose some of your confidence after the first 2 games and you kind of let go of some of your just general thought process of specific strategies of, okay, let's try and break down this player. Instead, you're going for an overall approach that, hey, we might not be able to get this one, but let's try some new stuff. Clicky actually right there, getting targeted by Alternate, but does manage to survive.
I'm still kind of curious as to where Loki went. I saw him 1 second, the next there were 5 members of SK right where his corpse was. So
yeah.
Clean erase, being able to come in, comeback mechanic, 58% already picked up, and really solid kills coming down. They have good control.
Oh, but the Midnight, now you can't see nothing. Viral on the sideline, and the Hexafire blocked up by a wall temporarily, ends up backing off from the anti-healing. Dread Serpent thrown out too. Finds a couple hero, you're in a bit of trouble, have to pop the Immortal to keep himself alive, rotate to the rest of the team and the healing, but SK Gaming are the ones on the point.
Hero going to be able to get a nice little fire kill as they continue pushing forward. 93%. They have to be very careful about how they approach this point, but with the way they are killing off SK Gaming, not too much to worry about. Alternate, I think, has been the biggest thorn in their side, or the biggest sword in their side, as the way Zen has been played, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go in right here. He can maybe take a 1v1, but he doesn't have his team for backup.
And Wi-Fi has been doing his job, going, trying to capture and all that, but then he just gets collapsed upon. Whether it's 2 members, 3 members from Renegades, it's made it very difficult for him as the solo frontliner. Alternate ends up getting taken care of by Loki, and here you go.
Such a good start for SK. Got taken down to amount to ultimately nothing. They don't get the point. Now they're pushed back 3-0 up for Renegades. And Bitey, it's one of those things. Willow has been doing some pretty okay things, but it just shows, I think, that Renegades have this distinct lead over SK Gaming that maybe in a matchup last week, 2 weeks ago, this could have been dead even. That Willow might have been a make or break kind of composition. Here, it's just a broken one.
And here we are back onto the pit, but nice wall to block off Poison from accessing Wi-Fi on the high ground. Viral sticking close to the payload because now it's facing this one choke point. As soon as it makes it through, we could see a similar situation to what we did previously with Renegades and SK Gaming, where they're just corralled up there. Actually, just floating over on the side after that ultimate. Here's another Midnight. Can find a target.
I would say flirting with death on that one as he's floating over the great abyss on the side of the castle, but the shots are still solid. Shady Shade's going to be able to clean up Loki. Seedling going to be able to help clean up a little bit. Vex comes through, but 1 minute 20, they need a lot more than just that.
Good job with disorienting Renegades, but ClickU is still around, throws up the hands, and Renegades very convincing throughout the entirety of this set. A second victory against SK Gaming.
Now being able to put themselves up, I mean, if this is the kind of Renegades that's going to keep playing, they are a deadly foe. This is something to be scared of. This is something, I mean, even like if you're G2 right now, you're just like, all right, next time we play those guys, we need to be able to step our game up.
Well, that's going to do it for us here in the casting room. Let's throw it over to the desk to close things out for the day.
Well, it was a great matchup, again, for Renegades. Not the best day for SK, although the first set, they looked really good against G2. Can't quite pull it out, get 3-0'd. This 3-0 just looks like they've kind of given it up. And it's many, I think, thanks to what we have kind of seen in the rise of the Grover here.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see it come through. Different style, different talent. That's been around for a minute, and that's sort of the most exciting thing is like these talents that have been around for a while, these cards that have been around for a while that just all of a sudden burst out onto the scene just because someone's got that cojones to pick them up. Today it was Viral with his Grover, and though I gotta say the Willow did good damage, kept the lid on the healing. The Renegades ran this so often today, it had to be an incredibly valuable strategy.
And you know, it was amazing that they ended up taking the Grover anyways, because I don't think they knew the Willow was coming up, and it really did shut down the healing. Having that pip extra around with the Mega Potion to burst heal really allowed Renegades to keep things rolling smoothly as they continue to do so. Don't have the beautiful picture, but we know that we saw him in the earlier interview. Viral, the MVP for today. and still a positive KD while adding so much healing, damage, and assists to the board.
Feeling good about his team. I think SK feeling good about the way that they're headed. All right, they've at least got a direction. They've got their sails set and the direction locked in, and their course. Where will it lead them? It leads to Las Vegas based on their performance in Season 1. We'll have to see if they're able to put on a show for us.
Let's see if this can work out in that way. Of course, this is the end of the PPL for today. Let's take a look at the standings and see where everyone ended up. It's setting up for a very spicy week number 5 to close out this PPL cycle. It is 6-0 for G2, 5-2 for Envy, 4-2 for Renegades. So those two are the ones to keep at to decide that second place spot actually going to land.
All 3 of those top teams could land at the 6-2 mark with some combination of wins and losses. And it's also worth noting all 3 of those top teams are all playing each other in the coming week.
Gonna be wild. This is gonna be one that you do not want to miss. But of course, if you're just showing up to our broadcast, you've missed everything because we're closing out for today. It's North America. It's the PPL. We're gonna be saying a goodbye for now. But again, next week at 12 p.m. Eastern time, we start our Paladins action, and then of course the PPL starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays and Sundays here on the weekend. You don't want to miss it. My name's Renegades. That's Pretty Hair. Latagris and Gore on cast. Production, great job from them. Thank you to the players and organizations for performing today. We'll see you all next time. As always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and we'll see you in the realm.